Welcome back to another video on the channel. I thought I'd do a video talking about why I fell in love with the sport of tennis, why I run the blog and the YouTube channel that I do, and also just cover sort of what I've done already this year on the blog and YouTube channel and some ideas moving forward and what sort of stuff you can expect on the blog and the channel. So yeah, just starting off with how I sort of fell in love with tennis. Obviously Wimbledon's one of the biggest tournaments of the year, if not the biggest, and being from England, it was always on when the school holidays were. So my mum's always been a big tennis fan, so I always just sort of started watching tennis from a very early age. Luckily, when I was 10 or 11, Novak Djokovic was breaking through, and I remember watching his matches when he was 2021 and when he won that Australian Open title back in 2008. I just sort of fell in love with Djokovic's game style and his passion on court and the way he interacts with the crowd, and I knew straight away he was going to play. He was a player I was going to follow his career all the way through. And I think if it wasn't for Djokovic, I might not have loved tennis as much as I do, because straight away I wanted to watch all of his matches, and I sort of just followed his career, watch all of his matches now. And over time, you just start to respect more and more players and watch more and more tennis. And I've fell in love with women's tennis as well. I watch all the women's tournaments and men's tournaments, and I'm a huge fan of many of the players. Um, I've always sort of wanted to be a sports journalist. I'm a fan of lots of different sports: football, boxing, cricket. Tennis is my main sport, and it's always sort of the sport I've wanted to cover. You know, I've always dreamt of going to events like Wimbledon, US Open, and commentating or presenting, writing or interviewing players, and I've just sort of always worked towards achieving that, and that's always been the dream goal, really. So I think it was back in about 2016 I made the Twitter account and the blog, and started just writing tournament previews and tournament reviews, and started analysing players, and always thoroughly enjoyed it, and never thought really I'd build up any sort of audience. I always just sort of done it as something as I enjoyed, and just posted them online really for people to look at if they wanted to. So I started to take my blog more seriously during university, because I knew how important work experience was, and to have that portfolio of work to show any future employers. And to be honest, my tennis blog didn't get I didn't do as much work as I wanted to during university. So I found university hard. It was a lot of work, and I just didn't really have the time or the motivation at that time to really do a lot of work on my blog. But since graduating, I really started to kick on my blog at the end of last year, and started interviewing players and trying to get my name out there. And then at the start of this year, I've made a YouTube channel and an Instagram account. My YouTube account was just something at the spur of the moment. It's something that I've always thought about doing, presenting and interviewing players, and I just thought I would go for it. And it's something that I'm thoroughly enjoying. I'm doing 2 to 3 videos a week, and hopefully interviewing more and more players. I've already got 2 posted on the channel, which you can watch after this, and I've got more coming out very soon. So yeah, this year so far, I just sort of made a plan at the start of the year that I wanted to start daily uploading throughout Grand Slams and big events, which didn't last long. I got through the Australian Open, daily uploading throughout, previewing and reviewing all the men's and women's action. And it was something I thoroughly enjoyed. I think it makes you sort of enjoy the tournament more, because you're watching matches to analyse players, and there's people tuning back every single day to see what you thought and your preview for the next day, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing that. It's definitely something I'm going to be doing in the future when tennis comes back. I did also have plans to work at Nottingham WTA event. I got offered some work experience there to help cover that tournament, but obviously it got cancelled, unfortunately. I was in the process of applying for places like Birmingham and Wimbledon, seeing if I could help out with commentary or presenting or interviewing or writing or emailing the British tennis subscribers, anything like that, just to get again more work experience, meet more people, build up me confidence and skills to, as I say, hopefully become a full-time tennis reporter one day. I did also plan to go to Roland Garros. I've been planning that since last year. Not really to cover the event, more just to out of my own enjoyment, because I haven't been to a Grand Slam event yet, and it's always been the dream to see Djokovic play live, which I was hoping to achieve this year's Roland Garros, which has obviously been pushed back. So I think we're waiting for an announcement on whether that's going to go ahead. I think it's very unlikely with fans. If it does go ahead, I think they'll be without, but there's nothing we can do. I think next year I'll have to be the year to attend the Grand Slam tournament. And then, yeah, when I made my YouTube channel, I did sort of plan to cover the Roland Garros live, obviously from Paris. I was going to make videos from Paris and just talk about the action and which matches I've been watching and stuff, but hopefully I'll be able to do that next year instead. So yeah, my new plans are just sort of to wait for tennis to come back, but in the meantime I've been interviewing lots of players. I've interviewed 20 or 30 players, I think it is, on my blog, lots of British players and lots of coaches and other pro players, junior players, and I sort of wanted to transform it into doing video interviews. I've managed to do one with Sam Rayner, a young British junior player, and also Victoria Allen, another British player who's moved to Florida in USA to continue her tennis studies and her degree. So moving on with the rest of the year, obviously when tennis comes back, I did start a new content strand, talking tennis trends, where I was talking about current topics in tennis and sort of giving my opinion. So I think the first one was about when Maria Sharapova retired, and talked about Djokovic going unbeaten. I think I only got one episode out before tennis cancelled, obviously, so I don't know whether that was a jinx or not. And as I say, hopefully we get the major tennis tournaments back at the end of the year, hopefully US Open and Roland Garros, and if so, I'll be doing daily uploads throughout them, talking about the men's and women's tournaments and previewing and reviewing the action every day. But for now I'm just focusing on interviewing players really and coaches. I'm sending like 50, 100 messages a day trying to get players onto my channel, and it's gone pretty well so far. I've got a few more interviews lined up, and they'll be out within the next few weeks. As soon as I do them, I get them up straight away. In terms of my blog, I just sort of write tournament previews, opinions on current tennis topics, and as I say, I've been doing lots of interviews, which I've thoroughly enjoyed doing, and it's been sort of interesting to get insight into players, and it's always just been a dream of mine really to talk to players. So it is something I thoroughly enjoy doing, and I appreciate the players doing that with me. On these terms of social media channels, I'll leave links in the description to all them. Twitter's my main one really. I've got quite a good following on Twitter now that I've built up over the years. I just tweet about, as I say, current tennis topics. I link all my work onto there, and always doing debates and polls and interacting with other tennis fans, which is something I love doing. And yeah, the last word really, I just want to thank people for the support. If anyone's read any of my blog posts or interacted on Twitter or read or listened to one of these videos, something I really appreciate. I didn't think I'd get as many people watching as I have. So yeah, just lastly, just coming up soon, hopefully the return of tennis really. It's been a long wait without it, but I'm sure it'll be back very soon. I'll be back with lots more content, but in the meantime, as I say, there's going to be plenty of interviews and opinion pieces going up on the channel and on the blog. I think tennis's return is imminent. And just going back to the start in terms of why I started doing my tennis blog and why I started this YouTube challenge. I grew up watching tennis, as I say, when I was a teenager, and I think over time when I turned 17, 18, 19, you sort of appreciate how big of sport football and cricket are, and this is particularly in England. And there's young British tennis players that I know work very hard and are very talented and sort of dedicate their life to tennis, to make sacrifices moving abroad for academies and to go to university in America, like Victoria Allen and Paul Judd and Ryan Peniston. They sacrifice their lives to this sport, and I don't always feel they get enough media exposure as they sort of deserve. And a lot of them achieve very good things on the ITF tours, and they're coming up the rankings all the time. We've got an array of young talents in England, and I just think they could get more media exposure and more sort of dedicated tennis fans. And that's me in with the blog really. Every time I do an interview with a British tennis player, it's to improve their profile and get more eyes on them and more people following their careers. and if I can get turn one person from a British sports fan or just a sports fan into following one of them players, then my objective has sort of been completed. So yeah, I'm just trying to get as many player interviews as I can and as many eyes on the channel as I can. Then hopefully, if you watch one of the interviews and you sort of like what the players um, about and what their journey is, and you hear about the sort of sacrifices that they do make and how dedicated they are to the sport, hopefully you become a fan of that player and attend events, and we can all work together to sort of improve British tennis as a whole. So yeah, that's all for today. I am back tomorrow. I've got an interview lined up with Ryan Peniston, who's again another exciting young British talent who's been over in Memphis, I believe, in America to study, and he's had his first full year in pro tennis last year and winning 2 ITF events, reaching the Wimbledon qualifying stages. So wait around for that. It'll be a good interview tomorrow, and I'll be posting that tomorrow afternoon sometime. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video.